March of 2020, this year, was not a good year for me. I lost a shit ton of money. I ended up basically losing really close to $200,000. You know what it is, okay? It was coming, all right? But I didn't know it was coming. I mean, I had horrible timing because I wasn't in the market all that time. So I didn't lose the gains that I made from the market. I lost straight after-tax cash. I had been storing up some money, all right? I had been basically leaving a lot of money from the businesses, from both of my businesses, from Simple Programmer and from my Bulldog Mindset business, in the bank accounts. And then my real estate investments, all that money I've been making, I've been leaving in the bank accounts and basically stockpiling cash for the purpose of buying a larger real estate investment, a commercial property, and probably doing a 1031 exchange. But I didn't really want to invest that money. I didn't really want to put it anywhere because I wanted it to be pretty much liquid so that when I was ready to make a deal, I would have that. And I wasn't really concerned about, getting a little bit of interest. I got a little bit smart and I was like, you know what? I've got like $650,000 or so cash in my bank accounts. So let me go check and let me see where I can get a higher APR on my investing. Maybe I can put it in like Ally Bank or something like that. I'll go to Graham Stephan's channel and check that out. I did. What I stumbled upon and what I'd kind of been looking at before was Wealthfront. And Wealthfront had a high interest checking account. So I looked at that, but it wasn't super high. And I was like, okay, well, what about just putting it in Wealthfront? It does robo investing. I can just put the money in there. I came up with a protocol saying that basically all the leftover cash that I'd have every month, I would take it and I would put it into this Wealthfront account. I think it's a really cool concept. It's just like easy way to have the money making some interest, not a huge risk, or so I thought. About that same time, and this is like, what is this? This is like February. You know what it is, okay? It was coming, all right? But I didn't know it was coming, all right? So at the same time, I read a really good book called The Bitcoin Standard. And you guys have been hounding me about Bitcoin for a while. I've been against Bitcoin because I don't like speculation. But what I figured with Bitcoin after I read The Bitcoin Standard was I figured out that it can be a store of value, and it's the best store of value. It's immune from inflation, right? It's, so there's this concept, and there's a stock to flow ratio. There's a lot of complex concepts, but it basically convinced me that Bitcoin is either going to drop to zero or it's going to go to like $1 million. Let me take $100,000. Let me buy 10 Bitcoin or so, right? It was trading around 10,000 something dollars. So I figured out all the shit to do that. I bought, 10 Bitcoin. So then, oh my gosh, with the, it starts in China. I'm not really like paying too much attention. I'm like, okay, whatever. And I'm not thinking ahead. All right. And then whoosh, bam, smash. I ended up basically losing really close to $200,000, like 150. I mean, I pulled my money out. Okay. But it was pretty late, and we'll see what happens by this time. And so what I'm going to be talking about today is what to do. What to do when there's a pandemic and you need to invest, and what not to do, which is what I did, and why that's so bad. If that sounds like something that you're about, click that subscribe button, join us on this quest, and make sure you hit the like button, because the YouTube, just for a guy that lost $175,000, you can hit the like button. Stoic philosophy is what I practice, and it's what I preach, and it's what I practice. Okay, I can take that loss, and it's not because I'm a bazillionaire. Okay, I can take that loss because of what I practice. It doesn't feel good to lose that money, but it also, I can just live with my life and move on. I did put myself in a position where I could suffer that loss and still be okay and come out of it and be able to put money into Bitcoin and not really care about that. And that's one critical thing that I teach you to do on the channel. Sometimes you have black swan events like this, and I didn't really see this coming, but I have now some rules that I've implemented that you should implement too, that you should look at. Everyone says, ride the markets out and not to, what's the whole buy when other people are selling, or when they're afraid, and sell when other people are greedy, right? Okay, ignore that. That's bullshit. Black swan events, it doesn't apply to. And in general, that's like decent advice. And you should just leave your money in if you're going for long term. Now, I wasn't going for long term, but the mistakes that I made, and what I don't want you to make, and which I'm not going to make again, is that when you see something on the horizon, that's way out there in the horizon, but it has an inverse upside, or it has basically a disproportional upside to downside, then a good move to do is to take the money off the table if you need it in the short term, or even just in general, right? Even for long term, it would be best to avoid these kind of situations. When things are just humming along or they're going good, it's good to have money in the market, okay, because you're going to benefit from that. But when there's something on the horizon that really like could be bad, it's better to just like miss out on a few percentage of gains. So think of it this way. At the point where, was it like February or January, around that time frame, where this was on the horizon and it was like, okay, there's some problems over in China. If I thought about this a little bit, what I would have discovered was that there's probably a potential of an upside of, let's say, 10% gains within, let's say, from January to March timeframe. But there's a potential downside of 50% losses, right? I mean, if things really go bad, like when you look at the best case scenario versus the worst case scenario, that's basically what you'd be weighing out. Okay, the EV, expected value on that for you poker players, is negative. So that's a good time to be out of the market. That's a good signal to leave the market. So I should have done that myself. I mean, I had horrible timing because I wasn't in the market all that time. So I didn't lose the gains that I made from the market. I lost straight after-tax cash. Right? A lot of you lost money out of your 401ks. You made the money in the market and then you lost it. I lost it straight, fucking just cut my wrist type of bleeding money type of thing. Here's what I'm really telling all my coaching clients, and I think this is solid here, which is plan for winter for 2 years. It's here. It's here, motherfuckers. It's here, right? And that's why when times were good, you needed to be working extra hard, right? And remember in that video I was telling you, yeah, just because it's good doesn't mean that you need to slow down, or that's when you need to really be busting ass, when it's good, okay? Because the winter is coming. That means the winter's coming. There's always cycles like this. Don't think that things are going to get good, right? In fact, if you have a business, if you're running a business, all my coaching clients that are running businesses, I'm telling them the same thing, okay? I might be wrong, and I hope I am, but I'm not wrong in the sense that you should plan for this, which is this, and I'm planning for this. I'm planning that in the next 2 years, I'm not growing at all. I'm just going to try and not die. Survival is the name of the game, because a lot of people are going to get eliminated, right? So you need to shift your strategies to position yourself to be in the best position 2 years from now. Maybe things will turn around, but I'm planning for this case and I'm accepting it. So I'm accepting in my businesses that I will continually take more and more losses every single month. There's nothing that I can do about it except to stay the course and do the best that I can, just knowing that that's just the market and I can't control that. I'm not doing some radical strategy shifts or changes, because that's not solid, right? And that's trying to react to the market and trying to predict what people will do. I don't know that, but I do know what is solid business fundamentals and solid investing fundamentals. And you should be doing this in your household. You should be thinking, all right, what if this last 2 years, okay, do I have enough money? Can I start cutting my expenses a little bit? What can I do? Who can I rely on? If you guys haven't joined Bulldog Mindset membership, now might be a good time to find a community, find people that you can rely on and build that network. But think about, these things. Think about how you can position yourself in 2 years if things are bad for 2 years. All markets will be hit, everything. Liquidity is important, because when you can't make your mortgage payment, you have to liquidate assets. You can't do that hold strategy. You're like, fuck, Bitcoin's down, but I gotta liquidate it because I need money, because I gotta live. Like, it doesn't matter if I have all this money in Bitcoin. I can't wait for it to go up, or the stock market, or gold, or whatever it is. People are going to be liquidating assets, and so all markets will be hit. Not only that, but remember, even if things start to go up, even if they do, we have airlines that are basically fucked. Okay, we have restaurants, small businesses, high unemployment rate, like all these people are going to get laid off. Like, all these things are going to be downstream effects. Tourism industry, so many industries are hit. Borders are probably still going to be closed for, it might be a year. Think about it. Like, there's a lot of possible implications here. So you should just expect things are not looking good, and it's already too late, and markets are going to go down. So what is a safe investment right now? Honestly, there's not a good one. The best one, I think, at this point, is the US dollar. I was in the best place I could be for this. I was positioned perfectly with my money in the, maybe not perfectly. Perfectly would have been if I was just like heavily into bonds, or I was shorting the market. But aside from that, I was in a pretty good position. Like, having cash is king. There is one caveat here, which is that the federal government is obviously printing trillions of US dollars, literally printing trillions and dumping that into the markets. And so it's going to cause some inflation. But because the demand is so high, the value is going up. So they're kind of balancing that out. So ultimately, there is some dilution of the currency, of course, and we probably will see the US dollar drop. That's my prediction. But regardless, where else are you going to put your money? Don't put it in bonds, okay? Even if you think the stock market's still going to drop. Why? Because when bonds have a zero yield, it doesn't make sense to buy them, or they have a negative yield. Like, it would be really sad if we get into negative yield bonds, but it's possible, I suppose. But that means that there's so little confidence that we're willing to accept a negative return as the risk-free rate of return. That's crazy. It's crazy. You want to put in the stock market now? I think it could go down a lot more. All right. I think with all the stuff I told you that is coming down the pipe, I just wouldn't fuck with that. I just wouldn't mess with that at all. You know, even gold started dropping down. I mean, you could say now's the time to buy, but really what I would do, and not even real estate, okay? And you know how big of a real estate investor I am. I wouldn't even touch that shit right now because we want to see what happens. If a bunch of people are unemployed, all right, and interest rates start to go up because people can't do loan, right, then all of a sudden real estate values could drop dramatically. And normally I don't say time the market, but you got to watch out. I mean, if you can find a deal where you're at a good positive cash flow, but when we're at the edge here of something big, that's when I say just sit and wait and hold your cash and wait to see some signals before you do anything. And I'll let you guys know when I start to see things that, and I actually have a change of investment. So I've got one more thing that I will say as a potential investment, which is Bitcoin. This is not a solid investment strategy. It is a long-term thing, and it has a chance of wiping you out completely. I'm warning you that the money I put in Bitcoin, and I'm not going to put any more at this point. I thought about it, especially when I went down, but I'm not counting on that doing well. My bet is 50% chance it goes down to zero, 50% chance it goes up to $1 million in 5 years. The EV on that, for me, is positive because I could afford to lose 100 completely. If you can't afford to lose the money completely, the EV for you is you're fucked if you're wrong. Like 50% chance of going broke, of fucking yourself permanently, all right? Especially if that's a lot of money for you, or you invest this large sum of money. It's possible, right? Like I said, I don't think it's a horribly stupid move to move money into Bitcoin if you have some extra money. But I will say one last thing about this. I'm keeping my cash for now. Do you know why? Because if the shit gets really bad, all right, let's say my business, like, let's say this business almost completely fails and the other business completely fails or whatever, I want to have enough cash to last 2 years to just pay for my living expenses. I want to have enough cash to bail out my properties if I need to. I want to have enough cash to survive because I know if things get really bad and everyone gets decimated, but I have enough cash to stay on. When everyone else gets fucked, if you can be the last man standing, you're gonna get all the spoils, right? And that's what it is for business, that's what it is for a lot of us, is like, if you could just survive this winter, you're gonna have a lot of opportunities gonna come out of this. Now, I'm not wishing like bad things for people. I don't wanna pull a chain and have everyone take 100 fire now. I hope everything is good. But be prepared and make sure that you're the last man standing if it comes down to that.